Hello, we're going to begin step 6 in the module 1. Number 6 says open the database, support AC_1 more tutors, and then copy all records from that student tutor table and paste them into our table that we have in Tech Tutors. Um, Again, I made a few mistakes. I'm going to leave them there as I go in and I open the actual support file. Now, where the support file is, we have to know, in order to open it, we have to know where we saved it in the support file. So all of your support files and all of this information is outlined um, in the course, but your start files are going to come, or your support files are going to come from those data files. So those data files that you downloaded along with your textbook, that's where they're going to come from. And so you have to remember where you save those. Um, so in my case here, I think it's there. So it wants us to open the database support AC1 more tutors. So I downloaded my data files. I know where I downloaded them to. I downloaded them to my Gaston 26 folder. And again, mine is going to look different from yours, but I have my data files. They have the data files available and I think broken down in either 2 downloads or 1 download. And I went ahead and took care of it in 1 download. So this is what it'll look like if you're getting it directly from the textbook. You'll need to do an extract all to get it to that particular location to unzip them. And if they're in your downloads folder, please make sure to move them out of your downloads folder because things don't function correctly when there. I already have mine extracted. I am going to look for module 1 data files. Uh-oh. Did I move them? I might have moved them. I guess I moved them. Alrighty, so I'm going to open them from my other location that I have them saved to, which should be my downloads folder. I've been moving a lot of stuff around to try to keep track of it. So hold on 1 second. Thanks for your patience as I found my Module 1 folder. So here we have our Module 1 data files that were downloaded. This is what it looks like extracted. Just make sure you know where you saved them to. Here we're doing the case 1, and this is the support AC1 more tutors that the instructions are referring to. Hmm. I'm restarting my extraction from downloading the database files because I experienced or I kind of made an error that I want you to see. Here, where I'm trying to do an extraction, it's telling me that the file name would be too long for the destination folder. So again, the file name is too long. I'm going to do cancel here, and I think that's why it probably ended up empty when I did the extraction before. That's why the folders are empty. So what I'm going to do is determine, and I think that's why, if I'm not mistaken, why this folder was renamed. I'm going to delete this folder altogether because even though it extracted, it did not provide me with the data. Okay. So I'm going to delete everywhere because I'm working from my Dropbox. I am going to rename this folder by just clicking on the name. And I do not know off the top of my head what the naming convention requirements are, as far as how long the names should be. But I do know that they do have an actual challenge to them. So I'm going to say access modules 1 through 12 data files. So now from here, I'm going to do an extraction. There was an unexpected error from one of the files where the path was too long. That's fine. That's a support file. It looks like AC12, so it looks like I'll have to take care of that in module 12. The same here. I'll just tell it to skip it. So it's open the folder. And now I should be able to see my data files, which I can. So again, I'm just did the extraction of the data files. So I started with File Explorer. My other database is still open, but to do number 6 and to open a support database, I went to my File Explorer, made sure I knew where my data files were. My data files were incorrect, so I corrected mine. Now I'm going to select case 1 and support. So here it's provided me and open the database. So the file is untrusted. We're going to say okay. It's asked us to open the student tutors. And again, my screen is going to look different. I have things magnified. So here, the student tutor records. And as you'll notice here, one of the next steps that it'll ask you to do in step 7 is to resize the datasheet columns. We're not going to do it here, but notice that this information has pound symbols in it. But it tells us something. Even though we can't see the date, it's still telling us something. So that's where you're going to, similar to Excel, when you have a file or a field name, then you have an opportunity to be able to maximize those screens or maximize those fields. So what it wants us to do is, it says copy all records from the student tutor table and paste them at the end of the table for our NP1. From here, we're going to select all of the records and paste them in the other database. There's 2 ways to do this. One way they're showing you, or the text suggests, is to click on the record selector or row selector. And then we're going to scroll down. We know we have 16 based on here. We have 16 items. So it says we clicked on the first one, and now I'm going to, on my keyboard, hit my shift key and then select my last row. And that selected all of them to be able to do a copy paste. Or another way to do so is to the table selector. They refer to it as the top left corner in the navigation pane. Either way, I'm going to do a copy here. And make sure I find my other database, my Tech Tutors. So from Tech Tutors here, I'm going to select, it says the end of the record. So again, you will have the records that are required by the instructions. So at the end of the records, what you're going to do is you're just going to select and then do a paste. Here, in this case, it's a paste append because we're appending this to records that already exist. I have an error message. I have an error message because, again, it's trying to do a one-to-one copy and paste, and I don't have a one-to-one relationship. And when I say one-to-one, it's trying to insert the information exactly where it's supposed to go. Remember, I cut out fields when I was doing the example. So in order for me to paste, I'm going to have to use a different database. So I'm going to go to the answer key here. I'm going to enable content, tutor. What I'm going to do here is, I wonder if I can make a copy. This is a step for me because I'm actually using an ending database. This is not for the students right now. I'm just going to make a copy of the existing table so that I can make changes in it. I'm going to say copy of tutor here. And although the records already exist, I'm opening it as they don't. So this is the copy of. I am, it's not going to allow me to do duplicates. I am going to paste. So I'm pasting 21 records. Now it will do it correctly because I have the correct. When you have tutor ID, you have first name, last name, major, year in school, school, hire date. Am I sure I want to paste these records? Yes, I am sure I want to paste these records. But please ensure that there'll be some students where it won't paste. You'll get an error like I got. Double check, make sure that your things are spelled correctly. Your first name and last name has a space in it, it's incorrect. So again, please make sure that if Sam marks it incorrect, that you are going back, that you are doing your remediation and your training, and just double checking and making sure you take a closer look at the actual items themselves. What I'm going to do before we open the query wizard, number 7 says resize all datasheet columns to their best fit and then save the table and then close the table. All right, so we're going to do a best fit. Here, there's a few ways to do a best fit. One place, I'm on my home tab in my records group. So we're going to do here, we have columns, and again, your screen may look different, but I'm going to select field width. And with field width, I'm going to select best fit. But notice I didn't have everything highlighted. So I want to make sure that I highlight the entire table to do a best fit. Another way to approach it would also be to, if the items were smaller, then that lets you know, that pound symbol lets you know that there's something in that field. We can't see it and we have to do something to adjust it. If you're familiar with it, you could always use, this is more of a mouse trick where you are in between the two columns and then you just double click and it'll show the best fit there. The next item we're going to do is step number 9. So we're going to go ahead and close the tutor table, and then we're going to enter the query wizard, the form wizard, and then we'll finish up with module 1.